and I am here to talk to you about Wheel of Alpaca from Hobbii. Now, I know that sounds weird, but one of the things that I like to do is I like to pick a yarn that I have that I've recently purchased, and then I like to make something from it. I'll either knit or crochet it or both. And then I like to, show it off, talk about it, talk about what I thought of the yarn, talk about, just basically what I crafted and how it went. So Hobbii has Wheel of Alpaca. Now let's talk about this yarn because it is acrylic and it is alpaca. And it is super soft and it comes in cakes. They're about this big. So just use your imagination because I used my entire cake. I don't have it to show you anymore. I only bought one. I bought the one and it was on sale for, I believe, $22. Now, the Wheel of Alpaca cakes are huge. There's a good amount of yardage in it. So the Wheel of Alpaca is 80% acrylic and 20% alpaca. It comes in a 250-gram cake, so it's yay big. It is 940 meters or 1,028 yards. It's considered a light sport. I mean, I don't know about that, but that's what Hobbii's website says. Now, the recommended crochet hook is 4.5. Whenever I took a look at the outer package wrapper, I believe it said 4 to 5. I picked a 5. Now, I've been wanting to try this yarn since it came out. I remember when it came out not too long ago. And I'm like, oh wow, I love that because I love the colors. I love the way the cakes look. Let me see if I can bring up a picture. So this is that gonna show up? Yes, there we go. That is what a Wheel of Alpaca cake looks like. And as you can see, these are the colors. That color is so pretty, isn't it? So you get the idea. It's kind of like a fading yarn from one color to another color, and the transitions are marled. So what that means for this this yarn is that it starts off with some strands and they're a certain color, and then it will start swapping out a strand for a different color and then another strand for that color, and it slowly kind of builds up. Now, you're going to be able to see this as soon as I show you what I made. So let's take a look at this. This is a crochet star granny square blanket. And it's super, super easy. Now, you can tell when you look at the yarn exactly what I'm talking about by the marling. Do you see how pretty the colors are? I love that pink, it's beautiful. Now look, it goes to a little bit lighter purple and then to yellow, and I started at the middle, right? So the middle yellow is yellow, yellow, yellow. But okay, so this was not what I had intended to make with this yarn. I started out making a blanket that had bobbles, and it was heart-shaped, and it had all the things I wanted to make, and I started the pattern, and I got halfway done with the blanket, and I'm like, okay, this is too much work, because every single row, I had to look at the pattern. I can't do things like that. So with the granny stitch star blanket, once you get the pattern down, you just repeat the same couple of rows over and over again. That is much more a blanket close to my heart. Because the other one, it was beautiful, but like I started noticing how it was looking weird and I must have been screwing up or counting wrong, and I kind of gave up after that. But my daughter is really excited for this blanket, and this yarn is super soft. I'm interested to see how it's going to wash and dry. I don't think you're technically supposed to wash and dry it, but we're going to try just to see what happens. It's so pretty. So this blanket I used every little bit of that cake. I even stopped mid-row somewhere. I'm like, okay, there's no more yarn. I have like this much yarn left. I'm just gonna weave that tail in and we're gonna cast off. And it's going to my 8-year-old daughter. She's excited for the blanket. She's not gonna criticize my finishing techniques. I mean, look, it's everything a little girl could want. It's a star, it's got purple, pink, and yellow, and white, and it's a blanket and it's soft, right? It'll keep her warm in the winter, and you know, she can do whatever she wants with it. She's been asking for another mermaid tail, so I foresee one of those in my future one time. I might actually look on Hobbie's website to see if I can find like a different yarn that I could use to make a mermaid tail for her. I like Hobbie's website for my kids specifically because they have a lot of washable yarn and it's not expensive. I mean, I paid the cake, sure, it was $22, which seems expensive, but like it made a whole blanket, a good size blanket too. I haven't taken the dimensions, but like, look. That's pretty big. It's definitely big enough to like use as a lap blanket. And if you had a baby, like a baby blanket to make, this would definitely make a pretty good size. One thing, if I'm gonna bring that yarn right up there, you're going to be able to see the halo theoretically. I don't know if you can see the halo, but you're gonna have to take my word for it. There's definitely a nice soft halo. Now, for someone like me who's very sensitive to alpaca, because yeah, I'm sensitive to alpaca. I've used yarns from different big box stores that have alpaca in it, and they like literally my skin will turn red and I start itching and just can't stop. This hasn't bothered me once the entire time. So I don't know if it's just that there's not that much alpaca or that it's really soft, because it is really soft. I know that sometimes with alpaca, depending on where you're getting it from, there can be guard hairs in it. And like, I don't feel anything like that here. But like I said, that's just my specific response to it, that it's just super soft and I like it. Like I said, I'm interested to see how it's gonna wash and dry, because I do know one thing about alpaca, it likes to stretch, so I wonder what's gonna happen to the blanket. It has 80% acrylic in it though, right? So you wouldn't think it would do that. You wouldn't think that it would overly stretch. I had a lot of fun making this. This is what, like 1,080 something yards? Sorry, I have to say the right words. I have to say the right yardage just because I don't want to misrepresent. This was 1,028 yards. And I started this on Friday night and it is now Sunday at 7:14. So that's how long it took me to crochet this. Oh, isn't it pretty? I'm excited about this one. I know they have a bunch of really pretty colors. Like I showed you the gray and the pink. That would make a super pretty blanket. And you know what? You could take this granny stitch and just make a granny stitch rectangle. And you could use 2 cakes. That would go over a bed. It would be so pretty. But you know what? I've noticed one thing about knitting and crocheting and yarn. I have so much yarn and so little time. I really need to concentrate. So there will be no yarn Wheel of Alpaca buying for me for right now till I get through some of my other Hobbii yarn. I actually purchased some Davina and some alpaca silk from Hobbii. And you will see both of those, I believe, whenever I start on the Hohi Locatelli Knit-a-thon, because I am planning on using both of those for that. It's going to be wonderful, I hope. I've got like the alpaca silk. I took it out of the package and I'm squeezing it and I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And Davina is like a chainette yarn. So it's a tube that, like a stockinette tube that you knit with. It's so pretty. The color is like a light pink, I think. I hope it's been a little bit. I have to start getting that yarn out for that make along. But I love this. This blanket was great. It was a Friday through Sunday project. And look, you can't get better than that. You know, if you have like a baby shower you need to make a blanket for. I don't think that, I mean, it says it's alpaca, but I don't think that this would like irritate even a baby's skin. It's so soft. Yeah, it's not even itching my neck, and my neck is really, really sensitive. I remember one year I made like a cowl out of alpaca, and no, I could not wear it at all. But this just, no, this didn't bother my hands or anything. It was super soft, and the color changes. Oh, I love it. This is what, so after I get done with the Hobbii yarn that I have, and I find a whole bunch of people to make stuff for because I really need to. There's only so many sweaters that I can make myself, so I need to start sourcing them out to other people. But after all of that, and after I get through some of the yarn that I have from Hobbii now, I'm going to buy a couple more Wheel of Alpaca, and I think I'm going to buy 2 for my son and 2 for my daughter and make them each a granny, like a granny rectangle blanket. My plan would be to have 2 of each color and do like a rectangle blanket, and start one from the inside and work to the outside, and then start the other one from the outside and work to the inside. So it was kind of like a mirror gradient almost. I mean, I don't want to say gradient because it's different colors, but like a mirror fade almost. I just thought that was so pretty. But yeah, you can't beat that. It's 80/20 acrylic alpaca, 1028 yards, and I paid $22 for this. I'm so proud of myself for that. Anyways, if you liked this video, please hit like and subscribe, and it would make my day. I hope to see you guys back soon. You can find me, I don't know if I mentioned this, but you can find me on Ravelry and YouTube, obviously, and Instagram is Mandy Von Knits. I hope that this inspired you to maybe give Wheel of Alpaca a try. It's definitely a good yarn. Oh, hey, you know what? Do you remember how I said I worked almost a half of a blanket in this and then decided I don't want to do this anymore and took it out? That meant that I had to frog, you know, half of a blanket, half of a cake of this yarn. It catches on itself, but I didn't find it overly aggravating. I mean, I'm not going to say that the yarn doesn't catch on itself because it's got alpaca in it. It definitely does. And there might have been a couple of spots where, you know, you had to really work at it. But all in all, for what this yarn is, it definitely came out and frogged pretty decently. I mean, I've had yarn before where like I'm working with mohair and it's just stuck in a big tangled mess and I'm just like, oh, what am I going to do? And as much as I hate untangling yarn, I was never like, I give up on this. I can't do this anymore. So if that tells you anything, even I managed to frog half of a blanket in it. So that is definitely worth it. And just as a helpful tip for using this yarn, if I had to make just a one cake blanket again, I would work from the outside in. And I'm going to tell you why. And it's through no real fault of the yarn, but it's very soft and there's not much structure to it. I don't know how to explain it, but if you felt it, you would understand. It's very light and fluffy and it's pretty much weightless. So the cakes, it's just a lot better to work from the outside in, because I started working from the inside out, and as I got like a quarter of the way through, the cake started to fall apart. And I'm like, oh no. So I ended up having to basically wind it up by hand just so that it didn't cause a huge mess, because even though the yarn does frog pleasantly well for, you know, being alpaca, it would have definitely caused a huge heartache if like that whole cake turned into a jumbled mess. But I would definitely use this yarn again. Look at how pretty it is. Oh, I love it. My daughter was like, earlier today, she goes, oh, you're almost done with my star blanket, because I had like this much left, and she was all excited. And I'm like, sure, you can have it as soon as I'm done filming about it. So she'll use this tonight, and hopefully she loves it as much as I loved making it. Like I said, hit the like and subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and leave a comment. I would really appreciate that as well. Let me know what you've made from this yarn, or if you like it, if you hate it, you know, it's okay. We're all different. We all like different things. So I would be very interested to see or hear about what you've made from it, or projects that you've done that have went well or went badly. Okay, so thanks guys. Bye.